You don't have to be an art major to be an artist. I am a senior in the communication department and I work with Eagle Media Productions, but it doesn't stop me from pursuing my own creative endeavors. My name is Adam Davis and I'm this week's Artist Spotlight. I suppose my life as an artist began as soon as I was old enough to hold a pencil. In fact, I can't even recall a time that I was ever not drawing something. I grew up like many kids did with things like Disney and Saturday morning cartoons, and that's where a lot of the influence came from. I would see these things on TV and these cartoons, and I'd either want to recreate it or create my own version of it. And from there, I just honed my skills basically by copying what I would see on TV or in the movies, and put my own spin on it or create my own version of that. Most of what I do is cartoons, comics, illustration style stuff like that. Simple but dynamic, fun to do, kind of lighthearted. I can do heavier stuff, but I do tend to try to keep it fun. I think for me, one of the big things is that I'm a storyteller. I've always loved to tell stories. As a kid, I would make up stories about different worlds and create all these characters that would live in it, and I still love doing that. Character design is probably one of my favorite things to do. There's so many different varieties of things you can make, and it's always fun to see the results. I work mostly in traditional media, things like pencil, paper, ink, some colored pencil from time to time. I do work digitally, but usually what I end up doing is starting on pencil and paper with the line work, and then I'll take that into the computer and I'll use Photoshop or something similar to that to add color. And it's kind of a marriage of the two worlds, so to speak. I chose communication as a major instead of art because for me art it's kind of an escape. It's a way to get away from the stress of the real world, and when it becomes an obligation or a job, the fun tends to go away, and I just don't love it as much as I do when it's just something I do as my own personal interest. So I decided I would go for something that I'm good at, but not necessarily something that is my escape from the real world, and I found that to be a better solution. Once I graduate, I would like to actually start drawing more again. College is a very time-consuming activity, and you don't have a whole lot of free time for personal pursuits. So I would like to get back into that and refine my skills a bit. And one thing I would really like to do is do an animated short or two. I've dabbled in animation, but not as much as I would like. So that's something that I would like to consider down the road. Also, I've got probably a dozen stories floating around in my head for graphic novels and comic books and things like that. And if the time comes when I actually have the free time for that, I would love to devote a little bit of that to creating some graphic novels. We'll see what the future holds.
Thank you for checking out our YouTube channel. If you would like to see more of our content, click here or consider subscribing.